Hi, I wanted to make a short video for Module 1 on basic Pilates history. The original name of Pilates was Contrology, and there's actually a little book called Contrology, and it's a lot of Pilates movements because that was the original name. It changed years ago because of compliance issues and that's a longer history to get into, but now it's called Pilates, and you're probably more familiar with the name Pilates than Contrology. Joseph Pilates is where that term Pilates comes from. His name was Joseph. This is a picture of Joseph and his wife Clara, who also taught this practice. Joseph came from Germany and he was born in 1883. He was a very sickly kid. He had asthma. He suffered from rheumatoid arthritis, which, if you know anything about, is quite uncomfortable with the joints. And he also studied many physical practices. He was a circus performer. He practiced boxing. He also did some self-defense work with people. In World War I, he trained fellow internees and developed his techniques. And in 1920s, he moved to New York City and started training people alongside his wife, Clara. He also designed a ton of equipment or apparatus to help people rehabilitate. What's cool about that is because people couldn't move in the hospitals he was working in at the time, he actually designed springs to come out of these beds and these pieces that were around these people who could not move very well to help them rehabilitate and move better. We still use aspects of these apparatus now. We call them the Cadillac, the reformer, the chair or the wounded chair. And there's a ton of other pieces that have been made that have evolved from these classic apparatus. During this class, though, we'll be focusing on the mat work and we will be using a couple props, but we will be focused, and he did use those at the time, but we will be focusing on the mat piece of it and a little bit of equipment, but mainly the mat work, which is accessible because you can take the props anywhere you go. So it's like having your own home gym. The other thing he did in New York, which was really interesting, is he started to rehabilitate and worked with dancers. In a few weeks, we're going to watch a documentary based off one of these dancers. Her name is Eve Gentry, and she became a very famous Pilates teacher in history. Really amazing teacher, especially around rehabilitation, and her history and story is quite remarkable. The principles of Pilates, we think mainly of Pilates as the core. And I think a lot of times we think of the core as something in the front, but it actually goes all the way around like a corset. And we'll talk about what that means later on and what really the definition of core is. But one of the things that I really like about Pilates is it's more than core. It's a whole body practice, and it's about whole body health, and it's a whole body commitment encompassing body, mind, and spirit. So we will be focusing on breath, and I will teach you how to breathe effectively, concentration, centering, control. Remember, it was originally called Contrology because you were working to create precision and flow from an optimal place of form, and we will be discussing form a lot. I just wanted to go over this a little bit with you. Pilates can help with, and this is actually coming from a Pilates history website. This is their opinion. And it's not guaranteed, but a lot of times what happens is when you're doing this work and really trying to create an optimal form, you improve your posture and your health and overall fitness. You start to reach specific goals physically and challenge your athletic ability. It helps with, like I said in the first video, the introduction, it does help you walk better. It does help you sit better in longer periods of time. You start to just feel taller and better from the inside out. It has helped me personally rehabilitate after injuries. You'll see from the video, it helped Eve Gentry after surgery and illness. And a lot of times now, physical therapists are now using Pilates in their practices. They'll actually have some of the apparatus in their offices. It also helps your body return to movement, especially if you've been stagnant and sitting a lot. It helps expand body awareness and intelligence, developing trust in your body's abilities and starting to trust the body's importance of movement. You start to feel better, and which makes you look better, and live better, and that helps you live more happily. Again, this is from that website, but I found that the more I do Pilates, the better I feel personally too, and I see it with students quite often. This is a quote directly from Joseph. A few well-designed movements properly performed in a balanced sequence are way more worth hours of doing sloppy exercise or forced contortion. So you'd be really surprised how small, intricate movements really make a difference. And that's what we'll be working on this semester. Thank you so much for listening.